clearly you were pinching me the whole time. You were making that last video. You were doing this bizarre fucking leaning like this for some damn reason. Lean. This was some fucking like, I don't know, what do they call those bot bag leaning you were doing, man?
The bozo bags?
Bozo bag. I didn't have a bozo bag. I used to have I feel like if I had a bozo bag, I would have been a completely different child.
Yeah, no shit. You would have sucked, dude.
Yeah, anybody that has a clown of that nature on purpose, out of there. But I didn't have a bozo bag. I had a Scooby-Doo bag. Because, you know, I got to get my dog on.
I used to have a bunch of those bags, but I don't. None of them lasted long
I feel like if you have more than one bop bag, you're not human.
Well, mine wouldn't last because I would get them secondhand. So
you got the tape bop bag?
Yeah, so they were all taped, so I would keep buying new ones. I remember one time I bought one at Family Dollar, and I thought it was gonna be like big, like normal bop bags, right? Freaking this big, sucked, dude.
How big was the container?
It was like the box was like that big, like all the other ones, you know, because they fold.
Right.
And it was like this big.
I mean, the weight could have told you that.
I was a kid, dude.
True.
But you're concept of weight.
You're a weight-based buyer. We've established this.
Well, maybe that's why I became a weight-based buyer, because I was bamboozled by the weight of that one.
I guess, man. We'll get to the weight-based buying. But the bot bag situation, what was the design on that one?
I don't remember.
How do you not remember? Look, if you're going to invest in a stupid thing like a bot bag, you got to make sure that the design on it at least is worth your time.
I had like a monkey, which I think was the first one I had. It was like an ape.
Hating on monkeys now?
No, it was like an ape with like boxing gloves, if I remember correctly, and a diaper.
Ah, God, that's annoying, man.
No, it was cool. It was like a cool ape.
I mean, granted, you're punching it, but come on, man.
And it was big and it was white, like the surrounding.
Uh-huh.
But it was like an ape with a diaper. It does sound annoying. A diaper.
Yeah, ape with a diaper's bad.
It was cool, dude.
And I'm an ape fan, but once you strap a diaper on them, I'm
Damn, homie.
You know why? Because when I was a kid, a few times, I only knew my father physically for a year, and he took me to his ranch, and he had an orangutan there, like a fucking real to life. I'm sorry, not orangutan, a real to life chimp is what I meant, not an orangutan. I would have preferred an orangutan over this piece of shit chimp. This fucking chimp over here was just a bitch ass chimp, man. First of all, it ate at the dinner table. Who does that?
Who does that?
What is this? Zimbabwe? I'm assuming in Zimbabwe they eat with chimps at the table. I don't fucking know.
Probably.
But the point is, this fucking chimp would eat at the table, and you couldn't look at it because it would go crazy.
Damn, homie. And it's like the freaking rip that chicks like arms off and shit.
Yeah, chimps are not supposed to be a pet first.
Damn.
Second, they're crazy, man. They'll rip a face off or whatever, you know? But anyway, I remember being escorted to dinner, or not escorted, but you know, like call, hey, it's dinner time, and then this is with a family that I barely fucking knew at all, basically. I went to my dad's ranch with people that I've never really been in contact with. And we get called to dinner, and I go into this alien situation, sitting there with a bunch of fucks that I don't know, / care about. And I'm sitting there, and they put food in front of me that, you know, if you've ever eaten in somebody else's house, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, it is, right?
Especially when you're a kid. So you're like, oh, man, this taste is different. And if it's shit, I got to pretend it's good. You know, whatever. So already this situation licks my big salty sack. And then my dad comes in with a fucking chimp, man, with a diaper on. And he sits it right next to him at the head of the table. Big table, you know.
How big was it?
The chimp or the table?
The chimp.
Chimp size, you know, like, I don't know, what, like fucking 4 or 5 feet off the ground, maybe?
Damn.
I mean, it's a chimp, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, fucking Chimpy over here sits right next to him. And I'm assuming it was for my benefit because everybody was just like immediately, you know, like they knew what to do. He was like, yeah, just don't look at the chimp because they'll get angry. So not only do I have to sit here with a friggin' chimp, I have to eat shit food, alien food, and avoid eye contact with anything that moves, basically, in fear that this chimp will rip me limb from limb.
Damn, homie.
Sucked, man. What was that?
Where did the chimp stay, like, after that?
Dude, I have no fucking idea because I didn't know there was a chimp in the house.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden there's a chimp. Dinner's over and the chimp is taken away. And I'm like, where's this chimp?
I feel like they could have just fed the chimp, not at the freaking
dining
area.
Fucking throw some Brussels sprouts at it or some shit. Whatever the hell chimps eat.
Bananas?
In a cage.
Yeah.
Don't fucking bring it to the table. But anyway... So, apparently he had a chimp. He also had a toucan. I remember that. And he had a shark. Not... I'm not
an evil genius?
I'm not talking a huge shark with lasers on its head. Yeah. I'm talking like it was about this big.
Damn.
He had okay.
Maybe this is where my love for sharks comes from.
I don't know, but he ate shark too, so I don't know about love in it. I don't know. Maybe his love went all around.
Yeah, I don't know if I would eat a shark.
So look, man. Fucking, I know I've mentioned this before. The first time I ever like encountered movies at their purest form was at my dad's house, and it was during this visit, no less. I walked into a room that was a library of movies. All right, in case you're wondering how my dad had all this shit, he disappeared for 10 years after I was born. Then around age 10 or 11, he reappeared again, remarried my mom, and bought her all this fucking shit. And anybody with some sense was like, this guy's into something, because nobody just splurges like this for no reason.
Yeah.
And after visiting his house, it became very evident that he was involved in some shady shit.
Homie got sharks.
Eventually, he was arrested for being involved in trafficking. And we almost got fucking dragged into that shit because he didn't tell anyone this. He just popped out of nowhere, said, hey, I'm back. Will you marry me to my mom? A year later, he's fucking arrested. We're like, what the fuck?
I feel like anyone who owns a shark is into some shady shit.
Well, that's the thing. I go to this house. It's massive, right? It's on a mountainside. Part of the house is on a mountainside.
Damn, homie.
It's like a ranch, okay?
Yeah.
So there's a ranch on the mountainside, then the mountain, then the ranch lands, and there's a house over here on the floor, on the ground level. Anyway, I'm in the ground level house. There's a fucking chimp. There's a toucan. There's this library-sized room full of fucking VHS movies with a massive screen. Now massive screens cost pennies. Back then, it was like a fucking huge investment.
Yep.
Movies, too. You know what I'm saying? VHS were fucking expensive back then, man. Anyway, fucking massive room. In the room, one of the walls that didn't have all the shit had a fucking big-ass tank built into it. And there was assorted fish things in it. Fishy creatures. Ichthyoid beings, if you will. Anyway, and one of them was this little shark that was floating around. Like a little fucking shark just floating around. Well, you know, swimming around and shit.
It's pretty cool.
And I was like, how the fuck is not eating everything else?
Yeah, how is it then?
I don't fucking know.
Maybe it took his teeth out.
I don't know, but it was a little shark.
It was a little gummy shark.
And on another occasion,
Even though they just grow them back.
Yep, yeah. On another occasion, he took me and my grandma out to eat, and he ate shark. That's what he ordered.
Damn.
Shark.
Where? Who has shark?
I don't remember the restaurant, but I remember it was a fancy restaurant, and he ordered a shark for himself and other stuff. I remember the shark specifically, and I don't know what the fuck he ordered for my grandma, but it looked good. And then I was left to my own devices. Guess what I ordered?
Shark?
Fucking corn dogs.
Homie!
Look, first of all,
what is your thing with corn dogs?
I've done this before as a child, where I've been, because of the family, been taken somewhere fancy, and I could have had anything in the world.
And you got corn dogs.
But I dared to ask if they had corn dogs, and I guess these fancy places either had that for kids or were like, I guess we're making corn dogs. But corn dogs is what I had.
Were there some good ass corn dogs?
Nah, they weren't great, man. I remember the weenie being all fucking soggy and shit.
Ah, gross.
Yeah, it wasn't good. Very bland. Probably because they were like, what the fuck, corn dogs, really? Anyway, he had sharks. On another occasion, he took us to his stables.
Of course.
Because, if you're going to be involved in that shady trafficking shit, you got to have tons of horses.
What is that?
I don't know, but it's a fucking thing. That's a stereotype.
Why is that?
I don't fucking know, man. But at that moment, it was me and my grandma. At that moment, we looked at each other and we were like, oh, yeah, this guy. And I remember that.
That was the
that was the thing.
That is weird because like me and Grandma would always have like a thing. If we saw like a fishy place with horses out back, it was like, damn, they're into some shit.
Yeah. You got to remember that we live in an area where it's just a bunch of Mexicans.
Yeah.
In case you're new to this channel, we're Mexican. We're not saying that in a fucked up way, and yet somehow we are. But the point is, it's just Mexicans, you know. And I'm not saying Mexicans can't be rich. There's tons of like legit rich Mexicans.
Yeah.
But most legit rich Mexicans aren't gonna go and waste their hard-earned money
on chimps,
on fucking chimps, toucans, and a stable full of fucking horses. It's just a waste of fucking money. It's like fuck you money at that point. You know what I'm saying? Most of the richer, more affluent Hispanics that have made it to that level are like, yeah, we better take care of this fucking money that took us a lot to make. Whereas your drug dealer, trafficker types are like, yep, just going to spend on this bullshit and then hope to not get caught because, you know, tax season comes along and they're like, how'd you spend all this money? Anyway, we were taken to his stables and shown tons of horses that apparently he owned. And at that precise moment, me and my grandma looked over at each other and we were like, oh no. Oh, this is what is happening for damn sure. And I remember that night we came home and my grandma had a talk with my mom in a room by themselves. And after that,
that's ominous. That's like the only once that happened with me.
Yeah.
And I got whipped afterwards.
After that, Dad's visits became more sporadic. And then he just stopped visiting. And then he disappeared. You know what I'm saying? He was just gone. And then I remember one day, it'd been like, I don't know, man. I'm going on my memory of it as a kid here. 6 months, maybe? I don't know. It felt like a long time. We were coming back from church. Turned on the news because in Mexican homes, the news is the fucking everything. It's the clock. I mean, I'm sorry, the TV's the fucking clock. It's everything. You know where you're at because of what's on TV.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm in the toilet. Why? Because Christina's on.
Especially back then, dude.
Yeah.
Like, for us, especially. Like, now it's just like you turn on YouTube or whatever.
Yeah.
You have no concept of time.
Concept of time.
Days bleed into each other and you just want to kill yourself.
Yeah.
Back then, it was like, freaking Christina's on. Hell yeah.
I don't know what the fuck it is about Mexican households. Like, even George Lopez has a routine about that. About the TV being the clock of a Mexican household.
Yeah.
But it's true, man. It's weird. And I don't know how it is in other Mexican households, but in ours, it was literally, you didn't see a clock. I mean, Grandma had tons of clocks, but they were all wrong.
Yeah.
They were just there. Sometimes they were broken. Yeah. They had no batteries, whatever. They were all fucking wrong. You only knew what time it was by walking into a room and seeing what was on TV.
Yeah.
Oh, Christina, it's fucking 4 o'clock. Something. 4 something. You know, primer impacto, oh, it must be 6. You know, whatever the fuck. So, yeah, anyway, we got home from church and turned on the news.
Control, time to stroke it.
Yeah.
Yeah, mom.
Yeah, sounds down below to control the show. Look, man, yeah, we got home from church, turned on TV. It was it was news time, so it was 10 something. And they had announced that my dad and his brothers had been arrested. Or actually, I'm sorry. That wasn't that time. We got home from church, turned on TV, and they had announced that my brother, our half brother, not our shitty brother that we talk about here, but our half brother that you never met. I met only like twice in my life. I didn't know
this was a thing.
Yeah, I only met like 2 times in my life. By the way, you were not born yet. You were still in mom's stomach.
Womb?
Yeah, in the womb. But anyway. What was I saying? Oh yeah. We we learned through the news that my half brother and my dad had been involved in a shootout in a ranch on the other side in Mexico with American agents.
What?
And that's all we knew.
I mean, this is legit, by the way. I didn't know any of this.
Well, you were fucking in the womb.
That's what I'm saying. This is a legit reaction.
So, yeah, they'd been in a shootout. And I remember Mom stopping and going, dead fucking silent. I don't know, 2 minutes maybe?
Yeah.
And then she just kind of like sighs and walks away. And I'm like, damn, homie, this is not good. And I remember it being like an unspoken thing. Like, there's something deadly in the fucking air, you know. Then for the next stretch of months, we were like, well, what's going on? And I remember just talking to my grandma about it and her speculations, and then pooling our knowledge together. What we figured out eventually was that my mom had been basically the side woman, and she didn't know. My dad had left when I was born, or before I was born, actually. And during that time, he had gotten involved with a woman and, married her, basically. And here on stateside. Married her. And also during that time, by the way, had gotten involved in the whole cartel business. This is in the 80s, mind you, not the current cartels, which are beyond insane now. Crazy back then, too. Just now, it's like, holy shit. But he got involved in that cartel business, and him and his brothers all got into it. And they were all involved in that shit. Anyway, after 10 years of doing that shit, rising up in the ranks with his bros and shit, he came back and basically made himself known to my mom. Said, yo, I'm back, baby. Didn't tell her what he was doing. Didn't tell her that he was married. I don't remember what the fuck he said he did for work. But I don't remember. But it was something that justified him being gone for spurts. You know? Maybe trucker. I don't know. I don't think it was trucker. But, whatever. It was something like that. So he would show up, like, I don't know, once a week, once every 2 weeks. But I remember those moments being ensconced in my brain. Like the smell of him.
The warm smell of colitas?
Yes. No, he smelled like cigars.
Colitas!
What was that fucking cologne, dude? Blue something?
Blue Steel?
I don't know. Blue something. He smelled like that. And that smell is like stuck in my head. And it's kind of like a conflicting notion that smell brings up. Because I'll smell like either or of them. And I'll be like, whoa, it'll send me back, right? Because this guy,
hotels for me.
This guy was like a mythical figure in my mind. You know what I'm saying?
Like a Bigfoot.
Like he walked in and he was like this dude that like, whoa, man, like you were in the presence of something, right? Like I was afraid of like not him like physically, but just like I was in awe, fear, like whoa, man, what the fuck?
And he was hairy. He was hairy like Bigfoot.
Bigfoot, I'd be legit scared of. But anyway,
why? He's just an ape.
Dude, apes are fucking crazy, man.
True.
Chimps. Have we not learned anything?
That's a good point.
But anyway,
that's a good point.
Fucking, so I was in awe of this dude, man. And all that, like, just, like, stirs it up. But anyway, fucking, what was it getting at here? I don't even know why I went down that tangent. But the point is, he came back, said, yo, I'm gonna be in your life, and basically knocked mom up with you. And then, a year later, he gets fucking arrested for being a retard. And then he's gone, and like a guy that look, man, I know there's a lot of people that grow up with just their moms, and kudos to your mom for raising you if you're one of those people. But people that just grow up with just one parent, it doesn't just have to be the mom, it could be just your dad. There's something integral missing there. You need both elements to come in, both balancing forces to come in, and for this guy to show up all of a sudden and then vanish, it was such a conflicting, weird thing to me. Like, what the fuck, But 10 years later in prison, this will be for a complete different video. He ended up dying in prison, and I remember not particularly being affected by that immediately. But then later, like, me and my mom were driving, not too much later, maybe like a week, and I remember just crying in unison with her, and just understanding that that's what it was for, and that was it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I remember when, I guess when we got the call or whatever, I don't know what it was, but it was we knew he had died.
Yeah, you were around like 10 when he passed away.
Yeah, you and Grandma were in the living room, and Grandma was crying, and you were just like holding her.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is a thing that's happening.
But that's for another video, because that itself is an interesting story about his passing. But we'll get to that. The point is, this dude came and went and left mom preggers, and you know, he fucking had this shootout with the fucking laws on the other side, and then what the fuck? You know, what was that all about? Cut to a few months later after the shootout, and we are notified basically that we have to identify a corpse, and it was the body of our half brother. And the only way to identify him was his belt buckle, because they had left him mincemeat, basically. You know, whoever had killed him, presumably some other cartel. I don't know. But anyway, then not much long after that, our dad, I should say, got arrested with all his brothers, and there was this series of raids and deaths that followed that spooked us for a good long while. But that's, again, for another video. But yeah, dude, this fucking guy.
That was the thing.
This is a guy that happened.
I talked to him twice on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
That was weird.
Yeah.
Never met him. So imagine talking to someone on the phone who was in prison and you don't know them, and you're like, this is a thing.
Especially you, who are so adverse to conversation.
And I was like a weird little fetus kid at the time.
Yeah, you were real small. I recently found a piece of poetry that he wrote. Well, not poetry, really. I guess, sort of. But anyway, it was something that he wrote for us. You know, you and me. But anyway, yeah, it was just this guy that happened, you know? Like, I can't...
It's weird because Mom has... You know, for a person that's, like, so... Like, no bullshit taking...
Mm-hmm.
Like Mom is.
Yeah.
She's had kind of shitty freaking people.
Yeah, our mom.
Like our shitty brother, his dad's a piece of shit.
Yeah, his dad's a gigantic piece of shit. Fucking coke addict, meth addict, all that shit. Heroin addict, I should say. But the thing about our mom is, she grew up in a fucked up environment.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling that is something she gravitated towards unintentionally. But the thing about her also is she like does not take bullshit. The moment shit hit the fan, she was like, nope, that's true. I'm out. So kudos to her on that, because we could have grown up in some really fucked up environs. But she left our older brother's dad. Again, our older brother is our brother. Because of the mom.
Yeah, because mom. Yeah.
The half brother is because of, you know.
Dad.
Yeah, dad. But anyway, she left his dad, like, the moment.
Yeah.
He hit her once, and he was already doing drugs, and she's like, nope, not going to do this. Bye. Took the kid and then, you know, came and lived with our grandmother. And, yeah, and then dad comes into her life, you know, after that moment, and I guess they had a fling. I don't know. I know at the time he was on the other side in Mexico. He was what do they fucking call him, man?
Oh,
shit.
Charro?
Yeah, charro. You know, like they have horse and pony shows and shit over there, and he would do this thing called the Pass of Death. That was like his calling card. He would do this thing where there's these horses and you're riding side by side with a horse, and he would get on top of the horse and then jump to the other horse. You know, it's like a thing that people like over there for some fucking reason. But anyway, that's what he was known for. But of course he was dirt poor. So I'm assuming somewhere along the way he was like, fuck this, and he got involved in some shit. But anyway, before that, he just ended up leaving. That's all I know. I don't know if she left him or not, but he ended up leaving. But I think he ended up leaving because when he came back, I don't know the details, only she does, but all of a sudden he was like a thing in my life. Like, what the fuck? Oh, you're with my dad? He's a guy, right? I remember them being like, yeah, you're going to meet your dad. What the fuck? Really? How'd this happen? I don't know the details.
Weird. It's weird how, like, progressively we knew our dads less.
Yeah.
I think our shitty brother had the most contact with his dad.
Yeah.
Especially like in his later life.
Oh yeah, especially then, yeah.
And then you kind of had minimal contact, and me like Nathan.
I think our older brother had like a few years.
Yeah.
Then later in his life, he he got further in contact with him. I guess still is.
Nah, he's dead.
He's dead?
Yeah.
I don't fucking know.
I think he died several years ago.
I never met that dude.
I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he's dead.
Never met that dude. Didn't want to meet the dude. Didn't even want to meet my dad, to be honest. But I did. But anyway, yeah, he's just this weird guy that happened. But as to what happened to him in lockup, that's another video. And we'll talk about that then.
So I gotta ask, since you did get to meet the dad, stinker?
What do you mean? Like, does he smell?
Nah, like.
How was he as a person?
Yeah. I mean, apart from the fact that he might have murdered some fools, possibly.
Well, again, that's a facade of him, a facet, I should say, that I did not facade, a facet.
Yeah, just what you experienced.
Yeah, a facet of him that I didn't experience was his apparently murderous side. You know, I'm assuming being involved in the thing he was in, he was responsible for deaths.
Yeah, most likely.
Definitely had a shootout with the laws, so there's that. But the guy I met, like I said, I can only see this through the lens of childhood, but he was like this mythical, mysterious figure. You know, he towered above me, and I'm pretty sure he was just normal, average size, but for some reason that's how I remember him towering above me. This fucking aroma, you know, just circulating around him, the strong, heavy tobacco and that particular cologne, and him being very how do I say this? Very selective with what he said. He didn't speak a lot. He just spoke when necessary and very little. But I know that when I was out of earshot to them, of course I was still eavesdropping, that he was very jocular. Like he tended to be apparently like me. I guess that's something that I got from him. You know, I'm pretty silent most of the time, but in certain company, I like to joke around a lot. Another thing that apparently I got from him was the lard. But no, the other thing actually he wasn't that big as you would think. He was a little. He was like he was just a little portly, but yeah. But anyway, and the thing that I got from him was when we lay down, we rub our feet till we go to sleep.
That's weird.
And I remember being a kid and doing that, and my grandma telling me that, oh, your dad used to do that. And my mom telling me that, too.
You know what we didn't get from him? His stash.
Yeah, definitely didn't. He had a big-ass stash.
He has a good stash.
He had a fucking Zapata
We got freaking shitty-ass pube hair stashes.
Yeah, we got them lame-ass wisps. But anyway, fucking, yeah. I didn't really interact with him much. Even when he took me to his farms, he would just leave me in the company of like my cousins and shit and go do whatever the fuck. I do know he had this guy, which I can only call a henchman now, because
his goon?
There was he was only known as Barbas, which translates to basically beards.
Yeah, it sounds cool.
Doesn't work in English, but
in Spanish is pretty cool.
Yeah, it was this heavily bearded man that towered above him. Like, if in my child mind, or my dad was like 6'2", Varvas must have been like 6'7". Now,
in reality, he was probably like 4'3".
Yeah, in reality, he was probably like a fucking midget. But the point is, this dude was huge. I know that. I mean, I don't know how tall he actually was, but he was big. You know what I'm saying? Keep in mind that even as a 10-year-old, I was pretty tall. So these guys were pretty tall. But Varvas was this fucking dude. He was a dude. Okay, I remember being in that video room.
I like how we were winding down, but Barbas came in.
Yeah, Barbas was the last story. But look, I remember being in that video room watching, having my trauma cherry broken with the Toxic Avenger, being like, hell yeah, this is rocking, dude. And I remember this lady that I thought was just somebody that worked for my dad, but turned out to be the woman that he had actually married.
Damn, you actually met him?
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah, I knew him. But I didn't know that's what was going on at the time, though.
Did they know?
Huh?
Did they know?
Yeah, they fucking knew.
What?
Yeah, I'm telling you, my mom was just like side meat for my dad.
No, I mean her. Did she know?
Yeah, she knew.
Damn, homie.
Anyway.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's weird. But anyway.
Anyway.
Fucking, she walks in and she was like, because I was there with cousins, basically. And she was like, oh, you guys shouldn't be watching this. And I remember my dad telling her, just let them watch whatever the fuck they want. And then he walks in to, I guess, I don't know, fucking his office. I don't know. I didn't go in that fucking room. He walks in to this room. And then I hear him from inside tell her to get barbas. You know, in Spanish, mind you. Habla la barbas.
And then, you know, it's weird because you said he's bearded, but I can only imagine the goon from Desperado with the eyeglasses and the mustache.
Imagine that, only completely opposite.
That's the only thing I can imagine.
But no, look, so he's like, habla la barbas. And I was like, it's, you know, I was like, barbas, you know, in my head. And I continued watching the movie, and about, I don't know, fucking 5 minutes later, I hear these thunderous footfalls, man. Again, this is the lens of a child, right? I hear these thunderous footfalls, and the floor was board, you know? That's right, board. Fucking wooden floor.
Hardwood?
Slats.
Oh.
So, you know, these footfalls were heavy and resounding, and I turn. In my mind, I remember turning slowly, but I turn, and I see this monument of a man. Massive dude with a fucking huge-ass beard, man. Scariest motherfucker I've seen physically in my life. And he's wearing, like, you know, he's got a hat on, you know, like a cowboy hat. He's got shiny-ass boots on. He's got the, you know, he's got the cowboy look going on, right? Mexican cowboy look, not
fat.
No, just a big-ass,
tall,
hulking dude. Tall.
Muscular.
I don't know about muscular, but like imposing as shit.
I'm trying to paint a mental picture here.
A big fucking
guy,
hulk of a guy, in a
beard.
Cowboy getup with a fucking big ass beard.
Okay.
And he again, in my mind, I just remember it's like slow-mo walking and the footfalls. And I turn and I remember looking up, and I remember my cousins looking up as well. And just for a second, or whatever, few seconds, peeling our eyes off the TV and looking at this guy as he trod across to where my father was in that other room. And then he glanced at us, and I remember just being terror-stricken. You know what I'm saying? And then he walked into the room, and I was like, what the fuck? Holy shit, what is that, dude? And, right? And then my cousin told me, like the chimp, just don't look at his eyes. And I was like, what the fuck?
Barbas!
Holy shit. So
I feel like I'm terrified of Barbas.
Dude, I'm telling you, dude, this is not even the complete Barbas story. But I'm going to leave it on a cliffhanger there. Stay tuned for the other part where we tell you about what happened with our dad in prison. And a bonus Barbas story that's even more epic than this.
The Barbonus?
Yeah, Barbonus. So anyway, tell us what you think about this. Hit like, share, subscribe, and notification button. Stay tuned for that other part. And because we're out.